Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider Part 1. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies, pulling out a single copper-colored coin, and discovering that what looks like ordinary pocket change could actually be one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history. Today, we are exploring the 1976 United States 1-cent coin, a coin that millions of people have handled over the decades, yet very few have ever stopped to examine closely. At first glance, it appears simple, small, and common, but behind its familiar appearance lies a remarkable story connected to American history, coin collecting, rare varieties, and the possibility of valuable discoveries that continue to excite collectors around the world. The United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln cent or Lincoln penny, carries one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. The 1976 issue was produced during a particularly important period in American history. While the nation celebrated its bicentennial year, commemorating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, millions upon millions of Lincoln cents continued to roll out of U.S. Mint facilities. Unlike the special bicentennial quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins that received commemorative reverse designs, the 1-cent coin maintained its traditional appearance, making it a quiet but constant companion during one of the country's most historic anniversaries. The coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Lincoln became the first real historical figure ever portrayed on a regular circulating United States coin. His image was originally introduced on the cent in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. By 1976, Americans had already spent nearly 7 decades using Lincoln cents, making the design deeply familiar across generations. The portrait seen on the 1976 coin was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, became famous among collectors and remain an important part of Lincoln cent history. Looking closely at the front of the coin, collectors will find the word Liberty positioned to one side of Lincoln's portrait and the date 1976 on the other. Above Lincoln appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." These elements combine to create a design that is simple, elegant, and instantly recognizable. For many Americans, this design represented stability and continuity through decades of economic, social, and political change. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design that was used from 1959 through 2008. This reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, one of the most famous monuments in the United States. Designed by Frank Asparo, the reverse presents a detailed image of the memorial in Washington, D.C. One of the most fascinating facts about this design is that if viewed carefully with magnification, Abraham Lincoln can actually be seen seated within the memorial itself. This makes the Lincoln cent one of the few coins in the world to depict the same person on both sides of the coin. The coin carries the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent. These inscriptions reflect both the nation's identity and the coin's denomination. While many people spend little attention on these details, collectors often study every letter, every line, and every design feature in search of unusual characteristics, errors, or varieties that might increase a coin's value. The weight of a standard 1976 Lincoln cent is approximately 3.11 grams. This is because the coin was primarily composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. The composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish-brown appearance when preserved in original condition. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and circulation can transform the surface color from bright red to reddish-brown and eventually dark brown. In the world of coin collecting, color plays a major role in determining value. A coin retaining its original mint red color is often worth significantly more than one that is darkened through decades of circulation. The diameter of the coin measures 19 millimeters, making it small enough to fit comfortably in a pocket yet large enough for its design elements to be clearly visible. Despite its modest size, the Lincoln cent has become one of the most collected coins in American history. Entire generations of collectors began their hobby by searching through jars, rolls, and pocket change looking for interesting Lincoln cents. During 1976, the United States Mint produced enormous quantities of 1-cent coins. The Philadelphia Mint struck billions of examples, while the Denver Mint also contributed billions more. Coins struck at Denver carry a small D mint mark beneath the date, while coins from Philadelphia during that era generally did not display a mint mark. Because of these massive production numbers, most 1976 cents encountered today remain common and inexpensive in circulated condition. However, the story becomes far more interesting when collectors begin searching for exceptional examples, rare errors, and unusually well-preserved specimens. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories of ordinary-looking coins turning out to be extraordinary treasures. While most 1976 cents are worth only a small amount above face value, certain examples have attracted significant attention due to condition, striking quality, and rare minting anomalies. Collectors examine these coins under magnification, looking for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, repunched mint marks, die cracks, and other unusual characteristics that can transform an everyday coin into a highly desirable collectible. One reason collectors remain fascinated by the 1976 cent is the challenge of finding examples in pristine condition. Because so many were released into circulation, many coins quickly accumulated scratches, nicks, discoloration, and wear. Finding a coin that survived for decades while maintaining original mint luster can be surprisingly difficult. As a result, high-grade examples certified by professional grading services often command prices far above what most people would expect from a common penny. For collectors, rarity is not always about how many coins were produced. Sometimes rarity is determined by how many survive in exceptional condition. A coin struck in the billions may still become scarce in top grades if very few examples were carefully preserved. This concept has driven countless collectors to search through old collections, bank rolls, and estate holdings in hopes of discovering a hidden gem that others overlooked. As the years passed, stories began circulating about rare Lincoln cents selling for astonishing sums. These stories captured public imagination and inspired many people to examine their spare change more carefully. While claims of values reaching hundreds of millions of dollars are generally unsupported by verified auction records, the excitement generated by such stories continues to fuel interest in coin collecting and treasure hunting. Every collector dreams of finding that one extraordinary coin capable of changing everything. The 1976 Lincoln cent therefore occupies a unique position in American numismatics. It is simultaneously common and mysterious, ordinary and fascinating, inexpensive yet capable of surprising collectors when unusual examples appear. Its connection to the bicentennial era adds historical significance, while its copper composition and classic Lincoln memorial design preserve an important chapter of United States coinage history. And as we continue exploring this remarkable coin, the story becomes even more intriguing when we dive deeper into rare errors, grading standards, auction records, hidden varieties, and the specific characteristics that can separate a 1-cent coin worth a penny from one worth hundreds, thousands, or even more in the eyes of determined collectors. Part 2. As collectors continue their search for valuable coins, one of the first lessons they learn is that condition can mean everything. Two 1976 1-cent coins may appear almost identical to the average person, yet one could be worth only a single cent while the other could command a substantial premium. This difference often comes down to grading, a process used by experts to evaluate the preservation and quality of a coin. Professional grading services carefully inspect every detail, including wear, luster, strike quality, surface marks, and overall eye appeal. The higher the grade, the greater the potential value. When a 1976 Lincoln cent leaves the mint, it possesses a brilliant surface and sharp details. However, the moment it enters circulation, it begins accumulating tiny marks from contact with other coins. It may pass through hundreds or even thousands of hands over the years. It could spend time in cash registers, pockets, piggy banks, vending machines, and forgotten drawers. Each interaction leaves evidence on the coin's surface. Because of this, finding a coin that somehow escaped circulation and retained its original appearance can be a remarkable discovery. Collectors often classify Lincoln cents by color. The most desirable category is known as red. These coins maintain nearly all of their original mint color. The next category is red-brown, where some original red remains, but portions have begun darkening. Finally, brown coins have largely lost their original red coloration. Since copper naturally reacts with the environment over time, fully red examples from 1976 become increasingly difficult to locate as decades pass. This scarcity contributes significantly to collector demand. Another fascinating aspect of the 1976 cent is the possibility of mint errors. Mint errors occur when something unusual happens during the production process. Although modern minting technology is highly efficient, mistakes occasionally occur. These mistakes can create unique coins that become highly sought after by collectors. One example is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin planchet is not properly positioned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. Depending on the degree of misalignment, such coins can command impressive premiums. Another type of error involves die cracks. Dies are the metal tools used to strike coin designs onto blank planchets. Over time, these dies experience tremendous pressure and may develop cracks. When a cracked die strikes a coin, raised lines can appear on the finished piece. Some collectors actively seek these unusual features because they reveal part of the manufacturing history behind each coin. Doubled die varieties represent another area of excitement. A doubled die occurs when the die itself receives a slightly misaligned impression during its creation. The resulting coins may display noticeable doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. Such varieties can become famous within the collecting community, and may command values far above ordinary examples. Even minor doubling can attract significant attention when discovered and authenticated. Collectors also search for clipped planchets. These occur when the metal blank is improperly cut before striking. The finished coin may appear to have a curved section missing from its edge. Because these errors are easily visible, they often attract interest from both experienced numismatists and newcomers to the hobby. The uniqueness of each clipped planchet adds to its appeal. Perhaps one of the most exciting moments for any collector is discovering an unusual coin while searching through ordinary change. Many enthusiasts spend years examining coin rolls obtained from banks. This activity, known as coin roll hunting, has become increasingly popular because it combines treasure hunting with historical exploration. Every roll contains the possibility of revealing a forgotten rarity, a high-grade specimen, or an intriguing mint error. The 1976 cent is especially attractive to roll hunters because it remains common enough to appear regularly in circulation and old collections. Although most examples are ordinary, the sheer number produced means that rare varieties and exceptional condition pieces continue to emerge from unexpected places. Stories abound of collectors finding valuable coins in inherited collections, old coffee cans, garage sale purchases, and even loose change received during everyday transactions. Historical context further enhances the coin's significance. The year 1976 marked America's bicentennial celebration. Across the nation, citizens reflected on 2 centuries of independence, growth, innovation, and achievement. Special commemorative events took place from coast to coast. Although the cent itself did not receive a special bicentennial design, every 1976 cent still serves as a small metallic reminder of that historic year. Each coin represents a tangible artifact from a moment when the country celebrated its 200th anniversary. Many collectors appreciate coins not only for monetary value, but also for the stories they tell. A 1976 cent may have traveled across numerous states, passed through countless transactions, and witnessed decades of economic change. It may have purchased candy, newspapers, fuel, or groceries. It may have rested forgotten in a collection while the world transformed around it. Every surviving coin carries a silent history that can never be fully reconstructed, but always sparks curiosity. Auction results demonstrate how strongly condition affects value. While circulated examples generally remain inexpensive, certified mint state coins can achieve much higher prices. Collectors competing for the finest known examples sometimes drive prices upward because top population coins become trophies within advanced collections. The desire to own one of the best surviving specimens often creates intense competition whenever elite examples appear on the market. Professional grading companies have further increased collector confidence by authenticating and encapsulating coins. Once graded, a coin is sealed within a protective holder displaying its certification details. This process helps standardize quality assessments and facilitates buying and selling. For a 1976 cent, professional certification can make a significant difference, especially when dealing with high-grade examples or suspected mint errors. The copper composition of the 1976 cent also appeals to many collectors. During the early 1980s, rising metal prices prompted changes in cent composition. Modern Lincoln cents contain a zinc core with a thin copper plating. As a result, older copper cents, like those struck in 1976, represent the end of an era in American coinage. Some enthusiasts specifically collect pre-1982 copper cents because of their historical and metallurgical significance. The idea of a penny becoming extraordinarily valuable captures public imagination because it transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary. While sensational claims about individual pennies being worth hundreds of millions of dollars often lack verification, genuine rarities have sold for impressive amounts. This reality keeps collectors searching, studying, and learning. The possibility that an overlooked coin might possess unusual characteristics creates a sense of adventure that few other hobbies can match. Numismatic experts frequently emphasize the importance of education. Understanding mint marks, grading standards, error varieties, and historical context allows collectors to make informed decisions. The more knowledge a collector acquires, the greater the chance of recognizing something special before others do. Many successful discoveries occur because a collector noticed a tiny detail that everyone else overlooked. As decades continue to pass, surviving examples of the 1976 Lincoln cent become historical artifacts from a specific moment in American history. Their connection to the bicentennial era, their classic Lincoln Memorial design, and their copper composition ensure lasting interest among collectors. Whether found in circulation, inherited from family members, or purchased through auctions and coin dealers, these coins continue to inspire fascination and discussion. Yet some of the most intriguing aspects of the 1976 cent remain ahead of us. The deeper we explore the world of rare varieties, hidden treasures, record-setting sales, collector psychology, preservation techniques, and extraordinary discoveries, the more we begin to understand why such a small coin continues captivating people around the world decades after it was first struck. As the fascination surrounding the 1976 Lincoln cent continues, collectors often discover that the true excitement of coin collecting extends far beyond simple monetary value. Every coin represents a combination of history, artistry, economics, technology, and human experience. What appears to be a small copper coin is actually the result of an intricate manufacturing process involving precision engineering, skilled design work, and decades of circulation through everyday American life. One of the most remarkable aspects of the 1976 cent is its ability to connect generations. A grandparent may have carried one in a pocket shortly after it was minted. A parent may have received one as change during childhood. Decades later, a young collector may discover that same coin while searching through an old collection. In this way, the coin becomes more than metal. It becomes a physical link between different eras, silently traveling through time while preserving a piece of history. Experienced collectors often spend years studying subtle differences between coins. They examine strike quality under magnification, searching for unusually sharp details. They compare lettering, inspect mint marks, and analyze surfaces for signs of rare varieties. To many people this may seem surprising, but within the numismatic community, even the smallest detail can make an enormous difference. A barely noticeable error may transform a common coin into a prized collectible sought after by enthusiasts across the country. The rarity of exceptional examples becomes increasingly important as time passes. Millions of 1976 cents were produced, but only a fraction survive in outstanding condition. Every year, more coins become damaged, lost, corroded, or worn. As a result, pristine examples become increasingly desirable. Collectors recognize that preserving history requires identifying and protecting the finest surviving specimens for future generations. The market for collectible coins is driven by a combination of rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. When these factors align, values can rise dramatically. A coin may spend decades unnoticed before suddenly attracting attention due to a newly discovered variety or increased collector demand. This unpredictability contributes to the excitement of the hobby. No one can know with complete certainty what future collectors may value most highly. Stories of extraordinary discoveries continue inspiring new generations of collectors. A forgotten collection found in an attic. A rare variety hidden inside a bank roll. An unusual error discovered in loose change. These stories remind us that remarkable finds can appear in the most unexpected places. While the majority of 1976 cents remain common, the possibility of uncovering something exceptional keeps collectors searching year after year. The coin's design itself deserves appreciation. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most respected figures in American history. His portrait on the obverse symbolizes leadership, perseverance, and national unity. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse represents remembrance and respect for a president whose influence continues long after his lifetime. Together, these designs create a coin that is both historically meaningful and visually recognizable. For many collectors, the greatest reward is not financial gain, but the thrill of discovery. The moment a coin is examined under magnification and an unusual detail emerges. The excitement of identifying a rare variety. The satisfaction of completing a collection after years of searching. These experiences create memories that often become more valuable than the coins themselves. As the decades continue passing, the 1976 Lincoln cent remains a symbol of an important year in American history. It represents the bicentennial era, a time of celebration and reflection. It preserves the classic copper composition that would soon become part of the past. It serves as a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories waiting to be uncovered. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within this small 1-cent coin. Value is not always determined by size. It is not always determined by appearance. Sometimes, the most overlooked object can hold the most fascinating story. A coin worth only a cent in everyday commerce may inspire curiosity, research, passion, and discovery for decades. It may lead someone into a lifelong hobby, a deeper appreciation of history, or even the excitement of finding a rare treasure where nobody expected one to exist. So the next time you see a 1976 Lincoln cent, do not dismiss it as ordinary change. Look a little closer. Examine the date. Study the details. Consider where it has traveled and what it has witnessed over the past half-century. Because hidden within that small piece of copper-colored metal is a story of history, craftsmanship, survival, and possibility. And while most examples may never be worth millions, every collector knows that the search itself is priceless. The next remarkable discovery could be sitting quietly in a jar, a drawer, a collection, or even in your pocket right now, waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest mystery.